talking about what cameos suit Smoke the most. And I'm a bit afraid to sound like a broken record here. No, I'm prepared to sound like a broken record, but spoilers, I think Cyrax is the best option once again. Let's just talk about him first, and we'll talk about other options. Smoke, I think, is more obvious in what he's missing. Generally, I think the things he wants are cameos that can throw projectiles and give him a bit more of a screen presence, or have an ambush attack while he tries to do his smoke movements in. But let's just show Cyrax, because of course, Cyrax is once again amazing. Okay, so Cyrax does a lot for Smoke. Firstly, he gives him this kind of projectile. It's not anything particularly fast, but it's kind of similar to Sub-Zero's Ice Ball. It's just something you can throw out when you have time at full screen, and if it does happen to hit the opponent, well then you have all the time in the world to dash in and go for a combo, even if you're full screen. You can keep it meterless, take them to the corner, get a good knockdown, 30%. Anytime you're full screen, it just gives you something to do instead of trying to throw this or dash cancel in with this. You can just be like, oh, let me try and throw something. And if it hits, it hits. Also, screen presence. Having these bomb things is kind of a cool way of making the opponent kind of scared of you. They're not technically... You can kind of think of it like a projectile, actually. It's kind of like a setup you put on the screen, like a trap or something that explodes a second later. So the opponent is scared and they don't want to step near Cyrax because, boom. So that means that when this is on them, they might be like scared to walk forwards or do some kind of approach or to counter your approach. So when this is here, maybe I can do things where I like teleport in. And you don't even have to do the teleport. I can cancel the teleport. And they were scared of the explosion, that then my cancel teleport can more easily gimmick them into getting a throw. Or while that's there, I can go for my dashes more safely because they're scared of me. And I can go for things like that. It just adds a lot of screen presence for this character that usually doesn't do much from over here. And also when you do risky stuff, if you do feel like taking a big risk, like doing something unsafe like this and just letting it rip, well, you can just call out Cyrax to keep it safe. So if I do anything like this, whoops, I can keep it safe by using that, or even my overhead I can keep safe by using Cyrax. He just does a lot. But then also combo-wise, just like with some other characters, Cyrax seems to be a premier way to extend combos, and particularly in extending combos that are not normal. Like a Kameo like Sareena extends combos by, coming out, doing a stun, and then you do the same combo round. But Cyrax lets you combo off of things that you can't normally combo off of. Like this overhead string, usually you can't do much from it. Maybe, you can get a special, but most Kameos can't really get a good extension off of this. But Cyrax, you can just super easily, no execution, get 35% off of this? That's crazy! You just call him out after the second hit, do jump 2, 2, 3, and you get 36%. And I'm not sure, but you can probably extend this a little bit more by adding in smoke ports or whatever. But the fact that meterless, off of this overhead, you can super easily get 36% now, just for one Kameo bar, and you don't have to do it predictably either. It's not like someone like Kano or Striker who you have to kind of summon before you do the string. You can do this as you see it hit and you'll be like, oh yeah, I want to spend a Kameo on this and get some extra damage. Just pretty awesome. And if you do want to keep it safe, this helicopter move doesn't hit grounded opponents, so if they are blocking, you can dial in the whole string and then do the held version, and then he'll hit them with those highs and you'll be plus. And even if you do accidentally do that version in this, you can still get combos from that as well. So it's just a win-win. It makes this overhead way scarier because you can get things off of it easily and you can keep it safe and plus easily. And then, yeah, as for other combo extensions, he doesn't really need help with too much. Like, of course, we also get this down 2, which means we can do things like this. Every time we go on a down 2, you don't have to do this before you press down 2, by the way. It's not like Kano or Sector. I can just do down 2 and then hold the Kameo button. And then, depending on my timing or whatever, I can sometimes get stuff like this. There we go. Just an easy combo off of a down 2. And you didn't have to do a predictive cameo or anything. So we can combo for anti-airs super easily. Also, anytime we go for a teleport, the same thing kind of applies. If we know it's gonna hit, I can call out Cyrax and he does a spinny spinny. And then we just use our aerial 1-1-2 to get a nice chunk of damage off of it super easily. You can even use this like after you've been doing combo extensions with the smoke port. So basically you get a free EX smoke port, which is kind of crazy. And once again, just like before, if you think potentially the opponent might block it, well, you can also use him as a way of keeping it safe by using the held version of Cyrax. He's just too good. He does everything, man. And even there's some like weird gimmicky things, like whenever I land this overhead, the opponent's still in a hittable state, technically. So anytime I do something like this, like say I've ended a long combo in this, I can call out Cyrax and he kind of hits the opponent and they're stunned for a while, and then I can wake up with a throw or a button because I'm plus after I wake up. It's so weird, so crazy. He does so much for smoke. So yeah, maybe that's your best pick. So another obvious choice, and we actually saw this on a combat cast, is using someone like Sub-Zero, a cameo that's good at counter zoning, because he has this attack where it makes you completely invulnerable to projectiles, but other cameos like Motaro also have like projectile immunity moves, so stuff like that will be pretty useful for smoke. So this is the option if you like to be a player that you hate zoning, but you don't want to zone them back. So I think the next final option we'll show after this will be giving smoke projectiles with cameos, but if you don't want to do that, well then you can use Sub-Zero. And you just press the cameo button. It is an ambush as well, so you can even do it like while you're just like walking around, jumping. You don't have to do it in any hit stun. And now I'm completely immune to projectiles for a decent amount of time, which means that it's just my turn to go in and I can do how I want. I don't have to worry about using things to like go around their projectiles. I don't even have to do smoke port cancels because I'm just invulnerable to projectiles. We're just playing footsies. I've got this ridiculously long reaching overhead and they don't. So chances are I'm gonna win. So now, yeah, I can use this great overhead. And Sub-Zero also has this really useful freeze, which if you're finding it a little bit difficult with smoke to do these smoke port cancels and you keep, not smoke port, smoke dash, whatever this is, and you keep accidentally getting the full thing and you can't get these combos correctly, then you can use a cameo like Sub-Zero who, lets you easily go into these combos without having to use that smoke dash cancel as the way of extending off of your strings. Of course, it costs you a cameo bar, but if it makes it easier and you get more damage more consistently, it's definitely worth it. Whoops. So now you have meterless 32% with just one cameo, and of course you can spend more meter if you want to. And yeah, I guess it also gives smoke a better wake-up attack. This cold shoulder is pretty long-reaching for a semi-invulnerable cameo wake-up attack, which means if you get knocked down and the opponent tries to go for some pressure or they're throwing some projectiles at you, well, you can use this. And this is pretty useful for smoke against zoners like Rain or something who have projectiles that knock you down. I get knocked onto the floor and then they try to throw another projectile. My wake-up is not going to work, or I just can't do anything. I just have to block that projectile. But with Sub-Zero, I can be briefly invulnerable to that projectile, and because it reaches so long, I can actually punish them, and I have some frame advantage to dash in, and now it's my turn again. So overall, this support particularly works very well with smoke, but anyone that has some kind of counter-zoning potential, like Sub-Zero or Motaro, will work well, and also cameos that give you easy stun combos to let you go into your combos more easily without having to use the smoke dash cancels are always going to be helpful as well. And finally, you have the option of making smoke the zoner. So you can use cameos with projectiles like Sareena, Striker has an ambush projectile, Kano has 2 ambushes that are effectively projectiles. Kano Ball's basically a projectile. Sonya can give a projectile, Frost has a ground freeze, and Sector has a missile, Cyrax has the net, A lot of characters have some kind of projectile move, but I think the best choices if you want to really be able to be a zoner is Sareena or Kameo. Because Sareena, not only does she have that combo extension move that people love using, but she also just has a regular projectile that she can throw out and has extremely quick recovery. So it does a nice just little chunk of damage, fast projectile, I recover quick, and also her meter recovers quick. As you can see in the top left of the screen there on our Kameo bar, if I do something like this, combo starting thing, it recovers quite slowly, it takes about 10 seconds to come back. But if I just throw this little projectile, it's like nothing. Look, it's back in just a few seconds. By the time I've done one thing or even done a whole jump, she's basically back again, which means now effectively I have a free projectile that I can just throw out whenever. So now instead of being this awkward, I just have to walk forward, dash, walk block, or do some committal things like this to get in around projectiles. I can walk in, but I also have the threat of my own projectile that I can just throw out quickly. And they have to be worried about me now as well. And that is a really, really amazing buff. And of course you also have this backwards version one, which is very plus on block and very plus on hit, so that I can more easily get combo extensions. So this kind of works the same as Sub-Zero again. If you are having problems using Smoke's combo extensions, then you can use Sareena as a way of more easily doing it without having to use your Smoke dash cancels. And honestly, I think that's about all you need to know for picking cameos for Smoke. It depends on how you want to play him. You can either play with Cyrax, who gives you everything. You can play with someone that gives you strong anti-zoning, so you become invincible and you have wake-ups against projectiles. Or you can pick someone that turns you into the zoner, so you're not weak against zoning because you're doing it yourself. And also, these two cameos and a bunch of others that give you combos is always going to be a nice buff. So, either you fight the zoning, or you become the zoning. That's about it. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!